So Georgia Southern is going to Harrisonburg, Virginia, to play the James Madison Dukes, and this is one game I can honestly tell you that I had as a loss for Georgia Southern for them to go 10-3, and they're pretty much on schedule for the year. You know, the Fresno State game, the USC game, and this game are the three losses that I kind of had Georgia Southern pinned to lose. But that doesn't mean Georgia Southern can't win this game. Once again, the matchup predictor on ESPN have us a 19.5% chance to win. And I'm not going to sit there and say that it is completely the case. I do believe Georgia Southern has a chance to win this game, but when you go to a place like James Madison and the place that they only lost 5 times in 9 years, you're going to be scratching your head like, how can we make this happen? Well, I'm going to talk about that. First and foremost, their two starting running backs, or their two top running backs that I think they're the two top ones, they're going to be out. You know, they're not going to be playing. And one thing that we don't do well with is the run game. So that's going to help out a good bit for Georgia Southern. Now, does Wayne Knight, the running back that's going to be starting, is he going to be the guy? Or hell, even Malari, he may be playing because he's questionable right now. So it doesn't mean that both of them are going to be out. But even with all of that, can Georgia Southern stop what they can do on the ground? That will help a lot, because one thing that Georgia Southern can do very well is throw the ball. And if we get in a shootout with these guys, I do like our chances. So with that being said, JC French has already thrown for over 780 yards this season. I think that is really, really cool. And I think that's pretty much on par with what we do over here at Georgia Southern, averaging almost 200 yards a game, and we throw the ball around a lot, and that does help. And you also have O.J. Arnold, who almost have 300 yards rushing, and you have Camden Brown, which, to be quite honest, I don't think there's anybody on James Madison that's going to contain him. I would be surprised if that happens, but we're looking at a guy who's like on pace to be like one of the top receivers ever at Georgia Southern, with catching touchdowns in all 5 games so far. And it doesn't take anything away from James Madison, because I know this is a formidable opponent. We did beat them last year at Paulson, but going up to James Madison is going to be a different story. Alonzo Barnett, he's done pretty well for himself. 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions on 400 yards and 445 yards passing. And even like I said, Wayne Knight, he has almost 200 yards running this year. So he's actually, pretty solid when it comes to actually running the ball. And their receiver, Ellis, what's his name? Landon Ellis is their top receiver as well. So I just feel like this is going to be a solid matchup. I said this from the beginning of the season. I do believe that there's going to be a problem for Georgia Southern going into Harrisburg and beating JMU. Not saying that they can't do it, but when I looked at everything that's on the schedule, I kind of picked this team already to actually defeat Georgia Southern, and hopefully James Madison take a loss throughout the year, or a couple of losses, and we still get in the Sun Belt title. But this is a tall task for Georgia Southern, and I think they're just going to have to really lock it down on defense to win this game. I don't have any problem with the offense. I think the offense is going to be fine. I think, to be quite honest, I think the offense has done very well for themselves pretty much throughout the entire season, even though the Fresno State game was a little bit shaky. But I do believe all the other games, I think they basically showed up and did what they're supposed to do against their formidable opponents. But I just feel like with the James Madison game, you're just going to have to do everything you have to do on defense to make things happen. So with Georgia Southern, I really feel that whatever they got going on defense, you got some players coming back. I think Chance Gamble's coming back, so that's going to help the secondary. I think Josh Dallas is probably going to be back. That helps as well. And I think this is going to be a really good look for Georgia Southern, all things considered. And I feel like that this is a way that Georgia Southern could pull out a victory if they lock things down on defense. That's basically what it is. And when it comes to Georgia Southern, our Achilles heel for the entire season has just been the actual defense. That's one of the biggest things that we were really worried about. So I feel like with Georgia Southern, you get your defense to get a few stops, and you capitalize on those few stops, you have a chance to win this game. And I know James Madison is a formidable opponent. I know they are. I mean, they're like the team to win the East. So I'm not necessarily, overlooking them, and I don't think anyone should. But at the same time, I do feel like, Georgia Southern is one of those teams that can actually go into James Madison and win. We're number 2 in the Sun Belt based on all predictions or whatever the case may be. And I feel that as well. But unfortunately, I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer. I don't want to sound like one of these guys that's like, saying that they're going to lose, they have no shot, because that's not true. But I do feel like this is the game. If they're going to lose any more games this year, this is going to be a game. Now, if they come out and win this game, all bets are off. If they come through and win this game, I don't see any other team that's throughout the, I don't see any other team throughout the entire Sun Belt that will beat Georgia Southern, to be quite honest. Now I'm going to look over here and look at what we have here. We got a handful of people that are out. I see some, but most of the guys that are out is basically going to be guys that we already knew, because we had a handful of guys that was out already, but nothing really sticking out. So I'm not really worried about what we have on the field now, because I think they're going to be playing, like I said, Chance Gamble, Josh Dallas. They look like they may be coming back, and that looks good. I think the only person I'm really worried about that's out that has been playing, I think Green is going to be out, and that kind of is a bummer. But hopefully with Chance Gamble coming back, hopefully he's coming back, that's going to be a big help. So that'll work. But other than that, man, I feel like I said, if we beat JMU, and then you got the rest of the schedule, I mean, we're looking really good after that. I mean, you come back home and have 2 more home games. And you got Arkansas State and App State on the road. You have Coastal. Old Dominion might be one, even though we played them at home. That may be a tough one as well. And then we got to close out with Marshall. But this pregame, I just feel like you get this game, you can take it off, and you'll be taken off, and the sky's the limit at that point. But this is like the toughest task that we have that's left, in my opinion. Even though all the other games, they're Sun Belt games, no telling what may happen. But I do feel like where we're at right now, winning this game will be a really, 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 really big deal. But I like personally, like I said earlier, and like I said, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I already had this scheduled as possibly a loss, and the ESPN matchup predictor kind of said the same thing. And hopefully we could be proven wrong. I think Georgia Southern has everything that's on in their roster to prove us wrong. I don't see why they can't. But you just gotta understand, James Madison, I mean, they haven't lost, only lost 5 times there in 9 years. That's impressive. That's very impressive. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm just sitting here looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the matchup, and it looks fairly even. But I just think the home field advantage is not in our favor, obviously. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to get up out of here. I really appreciate you making it this far. Don't have much to say about this game for the most part, but outside of us, going up against a team that plays very well at home. And we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. All right. Peace.